everyone. Welcome to another episode of 50 Shades of Over 50. And I have a fantastic guest today. Her name is Maryann LoRusso. And I'm so excited to have her on the show today. Welcome.
Hi, Clavi. Hello, my friend. How are you? Thanks for having
Good.
me.
Yes, thank you so much for accepting the invitation. So the first question I normally like to ask all my guests is, how old are you?
Wow, you just start right out of the gate, right?
Yes, let's go.
I have absolutely no problem saying that I'm 52. I'm 52 and proud.
Yes. And one of the reasons really why I like to ask the age thing is I think that is one of the ways in which society has made us feel like, the age, there's something wrong. Because if you're not able to say your age out, there's a reason, right? There's a reason. And society has made us feel that way. And so that's why I tell my guests ahead of time, like, are you comfortable saying your age in public? Because some people are not. I'm like, okay, this might not be the show for you, because I really want women to really embrace this aging process. Listen, first of all, you're here. If you know what? So I think for that alone, they're like, okay.
That was what I was going to say. Yeah, we're alive.
Right. So saying the age out there is, and I want to help other women out there who are struggling with that, because there are some women out there that struggle with saying their age. And I'm like, this is just letting you know that, listen, over 50, over 60, over 70, over 80 comes in all shapes, shades, and sizes. We're all out here where we have the same challenges and we are struggling through it. But you know what? We're still showing up as ourselves,
Absolutely.
Yay. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Can you tell a little bit about yourself so the viewers know who you are, what you're up to, what you've been doing?
Sure. I am a journalist, writer, editor, now podcaster. I got my start in New York at a newspaper, and then I worked for about 12 years in magazine publishing, primarily at fashion magazines. So that's a whole other story. Podcast. Wacky world of fashion journalism.
Sure, it's still fun, but we'll talk a little bit about that. But go ahead.
Whole other. And then we moved. My husband and I and our daughter, who was at the time 10 months, moved to the Bay Area. So we've been living in San Francisco for 18 years.
Oh,
actually, no, 19 years now.
Wow.
It was supposed to be a 2-year stint that quickly turned into
2 years,
almost 20 years. So now I have 2 beautiful children. I still live here. I, for many years, have been a freelance writer and content creator. And about a year ago, I had this idea to start a website and, a blog and a podcast for women over, I call it over 40, because I don't want to do anybody that might be feeling, like if they're in that midlife group at age 40 and over, to give them a voice, kind of very similar to what you're doing. So I started More Beautiful.
Yes. And I think we need more of this. So if you're listening and you have that nudge, like, maybe I should do something on that. So we need more voices out here. We need more voices in our age group talking about what we're doing, the challenges, our successes. We need to be relevant through our voice. So, and that's how we, that's how we make change too, and one of the things we can do also is we can kind of help young ones too by putting our voices out there. So.
Yeah. And I want to say to your earlier point about age and, admitting our age, it's like, first of all, I want younger women, as I'm sure you could agree with this, younger women to know what 52 looks like, right?
Yes.
You're having like 65-year-old actresses playing 50-year-olds, and it trickles down.
Yeah.
You want to know. And that's why I love the name of your show, 50 Shades, because there are so many ways you can look at age 50. I was thinking back before we got on this video. I was thinking about what my grandma looked like in her 50s.
Yes, right?
She wore a muumuu. She had a kerchief around her short gray hair.
Yeah.
She lived for her grandchildren, and she really had no hobbies. And so, I mean, look at my grandma and J-Lo. Okay, that's the
right. Exactly. Decades apart, right?
Right.
Exactly. Right. And I'm sure that people on there saying, "Well, J-Lo's not." And see, okay, so this is the thing.
Well, I have a thing about that too.
But see, okay, and then let's talk about that now. Yeah. So I know there are people out there saying, "Well, J-Lo isn't. That's not realistic." And you know what I want to say? That is realistic for J-Lo.
I agree with you 100%.
Because sometimes people say, I'm like, that is realistic for her. That might not be realistic for you.
Right.
But that's her.
I posted something of her the other day. I saw this. I don't know if you saw it. She was in a pink jumpsuit.
Yes, that was. She looked amazing.
And I got a lot of women were bashing her, like, well, she has plastic surgeons and she has this and that. But, I kind of defended her because I'm like, yeah, sure, that's true. But it takes a lot of work to do what that girl does. I mean,
See, that's the thing. Okay. I mean, I agree with you. And so this is my take. And, people might not agree. I am just over bashing other women. I'm just over it.
I'm tired of that too.
I think, yeah, people are going to have different, interests and things that they want to do. And I think that's okay to let people do that. Even if I don't agree with it, I really want to, really uplift other women, even if it's not something I agree with, because we don't have to have the same view for me to support you. You could be doing some kind of business that I probably don't agree with, but you know what? I'm going to support you if I can. I'm not going to bash you. I don't think my opinion, there's just no upside to bashing other women.
I agree. And plus, my point at the time about J-Lo was not how good she looks necessarily. It was the fact that she's still trying new things. She started a business. She's
oh my word.
She made her own movie. She sang at the Super Bowl. She sang at the inauguration. I mean, the point is she inspires me, not only because she looks so great, but because she is not giving up. She is still growing as a human being.
Yes. And I had Georgia on my show last week, and she was a former actress. And she says this age thing in the entertainment industry starts from age 30. That's how young it starts, where they start to tell you. And I don't know if you haven't listened, I advise you to go watch it if you're listening to this, where she talked about you had like a range. They would ask you, what is your playing age? And that's your range. They don't want to know your age. And in fact, she even went on to say that, because at one point I was kind of confused at how old she was, because I'm like, but it says you're this age on the internet. She's like, yeah, they did that many years ago when she was on a TV show. They said the viewers wouldn't be receptive if they knew her real age. And so that is what we're trying to break. We're trying to break those stereotypes. Like it, we can be who we are, and some people may accept it, some people may not, but who are you to now? And so her age is out there, with 2 different days of birth.
Right. Well, first of all, you can't avoid your age being out there now. You've got Wikipedia, you've got to which I think is a good thing. And second, you're right. I mean, but look at who was defining what people wanted to see. It was the white male patriarch, right?
Thank you. Exactly.
And I've been writing about this incessantly on the More Beautiful, my Substack, because I think this is changing, and it's slowly, I have to admit, it's changing very slowly, but I think it's changing because more women are getting behind the cameras, more women are doing the writing, more women are producing, more women. And we're saying, listen, we're not just that frumpy sidekick in the movie, we're the protagonists because we actually have lives. We have lives.
The story revolves around us. The story can revolve around us, and we can make money doing that.
That's right.
And so I'm glad we're seeing those changes, but you're right. It's kind of slow, but you know what? For those listening, listen, we can't give up. We have to keep pushing forward. We have to keep making these changes. We have to keep putting our voices out there in different ways. But it's hard. It's challenging though,
I totally agree.
I mean,
I also think, what you're doing is great for younger women. As we said, like, we want younger women to see what's possible and not be afraid, because I remember being like 29, 30 and thinking, oh, I have 10 good years before, the bleep bleep hits the fan, and it couldn't be further from the truth.
I know. And that's what I'm doing a lot with like my family members, because I have a lot of young cousins, and I love, there's something about hanging around younger people. I love that. Right. And so I'm trying to encourage them and let them know that, because sometimes they're like, well, getting old. I'm like, listen, it can be exciting. You get to decide what it means to you. You have that choice. You have that choice. So don't think, because they're in their 30s, they're like, oh goodness, when our 30s we're so old. And I'm like, really?
It's all relative, right? It's just
like, I'm like, listen, do not spend time wallowing. Really spend this time doing exciting things. Spend this time doing new things. Right. Because when you get to my age, you'll be like, what? That was young. But go ahead.
Right. No, I was saying, I'm looking at your nails because it reminded me of a story I did on it's called Are We Too Old to Wear a Mini Skirt?
Oh goodness. I've been posting about that for so many.
Oh, but honey, there was a story, and it's still up there on a very prominent magazine about what women over 40 should not wear. And one of them is nail polish. That's blue, yellow, And one of them is like ripped jeans. It's like mini skirts. Like, are you kidding me?
I didn't get that memo.
Get that
I didn't get, but okay, that's interesting. And I'm like, but where did they come up with this? I actually saw something on God, what's this talk? What's this show? Family Feud, where one of the options was what age does a woman stop wearing the bathing suit?
Are you kidding?
Yes.
Wow.
And I think it was 30 something, or I think it was 40, something like that.
Is this old Family Feud or the new one?
It must have been new. Oh, it's new one because it's with Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey's right.
Well, you know what? Tell him to ask Helen Mirren. What about that?
Thank you. Exactly. Exactly. And I was like, what? I'm like, you know what? I'm like, no, this is, but it's interesting that these things are still out there, and we have to really just come out there and do what we need to do. We just need to do it. But there are some women still kind of buying into that. And listen, this is the thing though. If this doesn't work for you and you want to kind of, do your thing, you don't want to wear the nail polish, it's okay. But where I think is the issue is where they're now telling you what to wear.
Right. I'm all for, freedom, personal choice. It's all about what makes you feel good. But the thing, you're right. I mean, the thing is, I don't like people telling us what we shouldn't do. It's this idea. And that, again, has the name why I came up with More Beautiful, because people keep telling us what we have less of or we should not have.
Yes.
We have less collagen. We have less estrogen. We have less relevance. We have less.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It goes on and on.
We have more of so much. We have more.
Yeah. Less sex drive. There's so many things.
Oh, yeah. We could talk about that for an hour.
Yeah.
But we have. But think about what we do have. We have perspective, we have experience, we have compassion, we have
wisdom. Oh my goodness.
I wouldn't trade it for the world. I would not even be 39 again. I swear.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. I wouldn't even be 52 again because I love where I am. I'm very excited about what the life has to offer, the possibilities and things I can try and things I can do. Right. I'm growing as a human. And, to me, that's amazing. One of the things I want to ask you though, have you always been comfortable saying your age?
That's a really good question. I'm trying to remember that. Probably. You know why?
Okay.
Because
why?
I'm short. I'm 5'1", and the women in my family, we always looked younger. So until I was probably like 45, I was getting carted buying a bottle of wine at Whole Foods. Yeah. So I always had like even now, like I go up to buy a bottle of wine, I feel shame. Like, oh my God, am I old enough? So I think once I would flaunt my age actually.
Yes, right.
Because I wanted people to know I'm a grown up. I promise. I swear to God. So maybe that's a little bit of that. And yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting. But you know what? I actually have friends that I grew up with who from 1920 did not want to say their age.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, why?
Yes.
You know why?
I think sometimes depending on how you've been conditioned, you just want to be younger than who you are. I don't know,
Maybe, yeah.
But I've been one, I'm like, yeah, I'm this, they're like, seriously, you sure? And then, that notion of a woman never says her age. I'm like, where did that come from? Like, really? I'm like,
so silly.
That doesn't benefit us because you know what? It keeps us thinking that if we get old, there's a problem.
Well, I saw something the other day. I was going to post it. It was a cartoon. It was something like, a smart man can guess a woman's age, but a dumb man does, or something like that. Yeah, it's kind of true, right?
So I mean, it's this whole age thing, and I think in my 40s I didn't really see much of it, but I think it's like 50. You hit 50, and it's like, okay, you are no longer relevant. It's everything comes out. I'm like, what is that? And that's why I really decided, what, I want to kind of, do my part to make a change. So tell us about your podcast. I want people to hear about that. So tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, well, it kind of sprung out of as I mentioned, my Substack, which is More Beautiful. And I decided, I want to be chatting. I don't want to only be writing. I've been writing my whole life. Like, going back to the whole J-Lo thing, I want to try new things. Yes. So I decided to start the podcast, but, have it follow the same theme of just, showing women how much more beautiful their lives can be as they age.
Yes.
And so I have a theme every week. We've talked about fashion, like I mentioned. We talk about health, beauty, psychological issues.
Yeah, that's important too.
The emotional aspect of aging. We've talked about, I'm trying to remember now, so many topics, fitness. We talked about how my sister came on the podcast one week, and we talked about how your relationship with your siblings actually changes as you get older. So we're kind of talking about all the stuff that you would read and hear about in mainstream publications, but with a kind of particular angle for us, for our women artists.
Yes, that's so nice. And I'm going to put in the show notes the links to her podcast, her site, so that you guys can go out there and view and listen. And yeah, she has a lot of great information to share. So
and Bobby was on the show.
Yes, I was on once. Yay!
Yeah, that was a great one. It was right before the holidays.
Yes.
We talked about the joy of messing up in midlife and how you should be messing up. You shouldn't be just not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, the only way you won't mess up is if you do nothing. Right. And I think we have an amazing opportunity to grow. I was having a discussion with a group of women yesterday. We were talking about that. Like, the only way we can't fail is if we don't do anything. I'm like, okay. So the challenge, go ahead and do new things because you will fail at it. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Kwavi.
Yes, go ahead.
This I've been talking about all week. Do you have an issue with the word midlife, or do women because you probably don't?
Okay, it's interesting. I don't have an issue with it, but I have a friend who does. She's like, she doesn't like that word.
Yeah.
She didn't really explain why. I don't have an issue with it at all. But and that's interesting. You said, I'm going to ask her why though, but the women, have you found women have an issue with it?
Oh yeah. So when I wrote my first post on Substack, a couple of friends said to me, I love this, Maryann, but maybe you want to reconsider the word midlife. It sounds like a frumpy lady. And I had a couple of people that didn't like the word middle age. And so I wrote my story this week about that, about how we need to stop lying about our age and we need to take back these words. I call them the M words.
Yeah.
Menopause, midlife,
yes.
middle age.
Yeah. Because they don't want to say those words. But I also think it's what you're making that word mean to you. Like to me, midlife just means, okay, I'm at this point in my life when, okay, it's up to me now to decide how I'm going to create this next chapter. That's how I look. To me, it's empowering to me. Now, I'll tell you a word that I absolutely detest.
Which one?
Anti-aging.
Oh, me too. I totally agree.
I'm like, it's not possible. You anti-age, you die,
That's true. Very true. And it also feels very aggressive. Like you have to.
Oh, yes.
A problem that you need to attack, right?
Yes. So you're attacking that I'm getting older.
Right. It's ridiculous.
But I think I envision that that's a word that will probably fall out of favor soon.
I hope so.
Because there's just not anti-aging. It just doesn't, it doesn't serve a purpose.
Yeah.
Really.
I tell people who don't like the word midlife, I say like, well, pick a new word then. What is it?
Yeah.
Is there a sexy word you'd rather hear? I'd love to know. But in the meantime, I think we need to take it back, use it to empower ourselves.
Yes.
Redefine it.
That's it.
I'd like to see a billboard with Jennifer Lopez with the word midlife.
Midlife.
Maybe that would do it.
Yeah, I did a seminar probably 2 years ago, and it was titled Midlife Thriving, because I can't stand the word midlife crisis. I just think it just, and the reason why I don't like that word, I had done some research on it. And so for those listening, try and do this. If you type in midlife, right after that, you see crisis, right? That's what comes up in Google. And if you click on it and click on images, listen, the images of men look like George Clooney. The images of women, no. Mm-hmm. They look frumpy. They have curlers in their hair. I'm like, what is up with it? No wonder women don't like the word midlife. It's like, look at what is depicted when you pull up that word.
It's so interesting you say that too, because I was looking for some stock photos for my website. And if you type in anything, like say, pick, face cream, you'll see all these women who are 20, and then the description is beautiful woman applying face cream. But if you type in midlife woman face cream, because I wanted someone a little older, maybe over 30,
of course,
the images immediately shoot to 70-year-old women with like a face full of wrinkles, looking miserable. And the description's no longer beautiful. The description's like elderly, sad woman applying face cream.
See, I'm so glad we're doing this because we are just showing that there are so many faces of being over 50. You know, it's just not what they used to depict many years ago. It's changed and it's constantly changing.
Right.
And we're taking our power back by being whoever we want to be at this age, regardless of what society says. Because, you know, we live in a very youth obsessed society that kind of wants to.
So true. So true. But, you know, we have a powerhouse group, like demographically speaking, women over 30. We have a lot of financial influence.
Yes, we do. But it's not, we don't know. I guess when you see the way things flow, you don't see it. Like even in the media, I was watching something or reading something where they said when it comes to TV ratings, I think it stops at 55.
I don't know, but it sounds about right.
And I was like, okay, so once we hit over 55, we don't watch TV anymore. Like, what's going on? You know, it's like
that also, I think, is slowly changing. Like, if you notice, Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, they're all producing shows now, and you see,
that's amazing,
right? You're seeing, like, I was watching the morning show, and half of those female characters are
I know, 50. Right? And I think that is so empowering.
That producer lady, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Lady, she's like the news editor. I love that character, Mia. I mean, these are strong women, right?
Yes. Yeah. So we need to see more of that because that will help us. And that's going to help the younger generation also, you know, because they can see, oh, wow, these women in their 50s and 60s doing this. That means I can do it too, which I think is, you know, empowering. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm really excited about life and where it's moving to. I know it's slow and I still see, and it's unfortunate though, because I do still get women who reach out to me who are on social media, and it's rough out there. For women our age. I mean,
you think rough, particularly on the job front, or
no, just when you put yourself out there, like comments from younger people. Oh my goodness, the way they make you feel like, why are you out here? You're trying to be young. You're trying to compare. I mean, it's like rough out there and challenging.
Yeah, I noticed it on a few celebrity websites that women celebrities are trying to change things too. They're getting some really awful comments, but they address those comments beautifully. So I think it's a matter of just, staying focused on your mission and not letting anybody bring you down. Like these are people in their basement, just anonymously.
Yeah. And they're doing across the board. I didn't even know they were doing it celebrities. I mean, I'm talking about just everyday people. They were getting it. And, sometimes they're like, I don't want to put a video out, like, because I'm on TikTok a lot, and they'll be like, oh, I don't want to put a video out because the last time I did, they were like, why are you out here? Shouldn't you? I mean, the comments were just mean, but I tell them, you can't let those comments decide what you're going to do.
Right. I was telling my kids about that, and because I have friends telling me, you've got to get on TikTok if you're gonna, and I'm like, I'm not ready for that. You're amazing. Maybe you can persuade me. But I was telling my kids the reason why. I said people are mean, and my daughter said, she's 19. She goes, Mom, people on TikTok are mean anyway. She goes, the 19-year-olds are mean towards the 19-year-olds.
Oh, really? I didn't know that part.
It's not. I don't think it's just us.
But they can't. Yeah, they can. But you kind of ignore it. I mean, and you move on. Like for me, fortunately, I haven't noticed it on my post, but I notice it when I'm doing a live, and I just block them. And they'll do silly things. They'll do silly things. Like I've done a live before where I was doing a live, and someone I knew it was a guy, and he was like, well, he made a comment. He said, oh, so where are you? You're in your car, right? Because I was in my car waiting for my son for soccer. And he's like, well, look behind your car. I'm right behind you. And that scared me.
That's shocking, Kwavi.
That scared me. And I blocked him right away. I blocked him.
And did you call 911?
I was like, what is that? And but they'll do things like that, because but I'm going to be on there. They're not going to,
no,
make me go away. I'm going to be there.
I love watching your videos. I think they're super fun and energetic and positive all around.
Thanks. All right. So I have a question for you. So let's kind of project to the future.
How far?
Let's go to your 90-year-old self.
Oh.
What do you think your 90-year-old self would tell you about how you're living today?
Let's see. Oh, first of all, what is she doing? I hope she's hula dancing, belly dancing, at the senior center, writing books, going out to dinner with friends. I hope she's doing all of that. And if that's the case, I hope if she could see me now, I hope she'd say to me, kind of similar to what I would say to my 30-year-old self, is live in the moment.
Yes.
Don't think that there's a better age to be, because the only age to be is the age you are right this minute. Yes. And don't fear the future, and just enjoy yourself, because you know what? You could be afraid of being 52, or you could be 57 wishing you were 52.
Yes. And that's true. Yeah. Wise words. See why I love this age. We are wise.
We are most of the time.
Most of the time.
I don't think so.
But kids are like that. I had the same discussion but this is the thing. It's interesting because I had the same discussion with Georgia last week, and she said the same thing, that in fact, her words were, her daughter was like, Mom, why can't you be like other moms?
You don't appreciate your mom until later. Like, you just, in your 20s, it just takes time.
Yeah. It's the same thing with my boys. They were, when I first decided to go on TikTok, they were like, oh, Mom, please, you can't do that. No, you can't. I was like, why? They're like, well, it's for us. I'm like, really?
Such an embarrassment, Mom.
Yeah. And then, I kind of stayed off. And then again, I said, I'm going on. They're like, no. I'm like, listen, it doesn't matter. I'm going on. You guys can. They're like, well, it's for us. I'm like, but when did they put an age limit on TikTok?
Right. You know what's going to happen? They're going to get off TikTok, invent something else, and then
something else.
Old people, the old people.
That's what's going to happen, right?
But I do have to say, though, about, I was trying to remember what was so great about 50, because, I turned 50, I wasn't able to celebrate because of everything going on in the world.
Yeah.
But my kids gave me this book called 50 Reasons Why We Love You. And
honestly, oh my word,
it reminded me of you, doing the show reminded me of the gift, and I still have it. It was like they found 50 things. I mean, so yes, they're not so bad. I'll keep them.
No, but talking about that, they're not, though, because look at what my son gave me for Christmas. Why life gets better after midlife.
What a sweetie. That's a great gift. That's
so awesome. I mean, they do have their good parts.
We have awesome kids. I'm sure you have awesome kids. Yeah. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying they don't appreciate us yet.
No, they don't. I think when they get older, they will. They really will. They were like, wow, this is cool. But for now, we take them the way they are, and, it'll be good. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Maryann. This was great. I really appreciate you coming. This was so much fun. And I hope all of you listening, you got something out of it. And just remember that, this age that we're in is the best age you're going to be at this moment.
That's right.
So you get to decide how you're going to live it. Society might have their own way, but that doesn't have to define you. Not at all. You get to decide. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. Maryann, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bobby. It's been so much fun. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right. Take care, everyone.
Hey, bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed listening to the show, you have to take a look at Flourish, my monthly online community for women in their 50s and beyond. We talk about the important issues affecting women in their 50s and over, and provide tools and resources to help you live your best life. Join me by clicking the link Flourish Online Community in the About Me section below. I'd love to have you join me. See you there.